So what's the best type of exercise for tennis elbow, right? So generally speaking, as you look over the research about tennis elbow treatment using exercise or physical therapy, you're going to see a lot of exercises targeting the wrist extensors. Okay. So targeting the wrist extensors is going to be the way to go to help these folks. It's your primary treatment from an exercise and physical therapy standpoint, right? However, what type of exercise is best? Is it eccentrics, concentrics, isometrics, a combination of both? What should you do, right? So let's look at some of these studies. In one study, when they were comparing eccentrics versus concentrics, so basically in one group, they did a lowering of a weight in a fully extended wrist position down to a fully flexed position. So basically eccentrically lowering the weight, right? And then lifting it back up with your hand. So taking away the concentric portion of the lift. And they compare that against concentric only lifting, which is basically your wrist is fully flexed. You grab onto a weight, you extend with a load, and then you help with the opposite side arm to eliminate the eccentric portion. You compare the two exercises to see what's best for tennis elbow. And what they found is that eccentrics were superior because they gave a faster reduction in pain and greater improvements in strength. Okay. So let's take a look at the next study where they're comparing eccentrics versus eccentrics plus concentrics versus eccentrics plus concentrics plus isometrics, right? So eccentrics versus up and down versus up and down and also holding a position with a load. So if you use eccentrics, concentrics, and isometrics, that seems to work the best for these folks, right? Another study I looked at, they were looking at the difference between eccentrics and isotonics. So an isotonic is going to be eccentric plus concentric, right? Are eccentrics better than isotonics, right? And they had two studies in this analysis. So I think at the end of the day, we don't know for certain what the best type of exercise is for tennis elbow. But at least in this study, they actually showed that eccentrics had a greater reduction in pain. However, there's no difference in strength. And there's no difference in function, right? So use the DASH outcome measure as a measure of function. There's no difference between the groups. So you'll also find a little bit of research where the combined wrist and standard physical therapy, right, for the wrist extensors, and they combine it with some shoulder exercises, right? And what they find is that when you combine your shoulder exercise with wrist exercises, they had superior results over just the wrist extension treatment, right? So it may be beneficial to add some shoulder strengthening on top of your wrist strengthening, right? And here's the thing. There's not a ton of great research on this quite yet, right? And it sounds like you have benefit from doing all of these things. Some of the research is mixed. It does seem that maybe eccentrics is on top at this point, right? Who knows when that next research study comes out, it might not show a big difference. I think for a lot of folks, this becomes very confusing because we're not really sure what the best exercise is to apply to a patient. Well, in my mind, this just means that we have a lot of options, right? We can do some eccentrics, some concentrics, some isometrics. We'll add some shoulder strengthening in there. I think that we just have a lot of options and we can meet the patient where they are, right? In terms of how irritated they are. We can also plan to be more specific over the course of time with our exercise selection so they can get back to tennis, baseball, weightlifting, whatever it is. So at least in my mind, I'm glad that a variety of exercises have shown to help. And if I apply it over the course of time, they're probably going to get better, right? So use your brain and try to critically reason when you're giving exercises to your patients. So here's what I want you to do next, guys. If you enjoyed this video so far, I have an entire course. It's free. It's called the Fitness Pain-Free Mini Course. And we go over 3 lessons going to help you take a lot of this information that we went over so far and put it into practice. The first lecture is called Why We Need a Better System. So first and foremost, the way we treat fitness individuals, all right, athletic people in the gym from a physical therapy perspective is pretty much broke, okay? So we need a better system to serve the folks that are in the gym that get hurt, they want to get back to training, all right? Lecture number 2 is called 7 Reasons Why People Get Hurt in the Gym. And essentially, we have to know the reasons why people get hurt in the gym so we can keep them safe in the future, right? And when they get hurt, we have to know why and how to get them back to training in the gym. Okay, so a thorough understanding of this is very, very important. I actually have a really cool infographic that goes along with this lecture that you get for free as well. And lastly, we go over a case study of how to get someone out of pain and back to training. So these principles are all phenomenal, but we don't actually put it together and you don't understand how to create a program to get people back in the gym and keep them safe for the long term, then we lose, right? So I'll put a link in the show notes for this. It's a Fitness Pain-Free Mini Course. Definitely check this out.